Hello everyone, I Sonika welcome you all in my class. So here we are going to continue with the same chapter which we have started in the previous two videos, class 10 Civics Chapter 6 Outcomes of Democracy. In this chapter we are seeing democracy from that perspective that how democracy should work, right? And what as being a form of being a democratic form of government, what outcomes it should give, what results we should get. Okay, so we first make some expectations, then we judge then we assess the outcomes, that being a democratic form of government, has it achieved that aim or has it given those outcomes. Okay, so in the previous video we have seen that whether democracy is accountable form of government or not. Okay, what outcomes it has given in that field, whether it is legitimate or not, we have discussed all that. Okay, so here this is the second outcome of democracy, where we assess it from economic point of view. Okay, you can also call it as economic outcome of democracy. Let us just start. Before we come to these topics, in short, let us just go through your textbook. Okay, how it starts. If democracies are expected to produce good governments, then it is not fair to expect that they would also produce development. So here we are posing one question, that in the previous outcomes we have read that democratic form of government is better form of government, right? So is it fair to expect that apart from being a good form of government, it should also produce development? Okay, so yes, why not development? When we have chosen democratic form of government, it is good. Then why are we saying it good if it is not able to produce or if it is not able to develop the country from economic perspective, right? So what does evidence show us? That we will be studying here. Okay, let us get back. If we are expecting democracy should provide good government, then we also expect that government should bring economic growth and development. Okay, but what is the evidence? In the last 50 years, it is observed that dictatorships have slightly higher rate of economic development. Okay, and then the democratic form of government. So now whenever you write your answer that what are the economic outcomes of democracy, you also have to quote this in your answers, that what does the data show of last 50 years. It shows that जो dictatorships हैं वहाँ पे growth जो है it is more than slightly more. It is not so that there is a ज़मीन आसमान का फर्क है. It is not like that. Slightly more. Okay, या फिर the growth is faster या फिर growth is more than the democratic form of government. But this does not mean that dictatorship is a better form of government. Okay, because we don't assess the outcomes of any form of government only on the basis of economic outcome, yeah, only on the basis of development of the country. There are many more perspectives, right, of judging any of the country. Now let us say that in the dictatorship form of government, yes, they may produce development, they may produce good countries where there are more employment opportunities, या फिर the country's growth is faster than democracy. But what is the use of such development when citizens don't have freedom? Okay, the freedoms which we get living in a democratic form of government, right? या फिर we don't have those liberties to oppose the government, या फिर to express our opinion freely, right? To move freely anywhere in the country, to practice any religion. So if we don't get this in dictatorship, then are we going to choose dictatorship over democracy only because dictatorships are producing the development rates are higher in dictatorship? Obviously the answer will be no, right? So only the development, only on the basis of development, we cannot go for dictatorship. Okay, that the dictatorships they form, they produce, they develop faster. Economic growth depends on the factors such as population, size, world economic situation, cooperation from the other countries, economic priorities of the country, etc. Okay, so it is not just the form of government which matters for economic growth. There are many more factors. For example, that when we talk about that these days the superpowers are like Russia, USA, China also. Okay, so these countries they may be smaller, like USA, it may be smaller than the size of India. Okay, but the population living there and in India, There is a huge difference, right? So in India, according to the geographical area of India, population is more, ओके देन द मॉडरेट साइज ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन, ज़्यादा है पॉपुलेशन, तो बर्डन जो है कंट्री पे, गवर्नमेंट पे या फिर रिसोर्सेज ऑफ द कंट्री जो है उस पर ज़्यादा है, राइट? सो इट मैटर्स फॉर द इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट. एंड what is the world economic situation that time? Like if during this time we see that during COVID pandemic situation, so this time everywhere we see that the business have they've been shut, many of the businessmen they have become bankrupt, right? Many of the workers they have lost their jobs. Then cooperation from other countries, the foreign policy of the country, what are our relations, what kind of relations we have developed with the neighboring countries or any other country, what kind of cooperation we get from there, right? So we see that India's foreign policy, it is a non-alignment policy we follow, right? We don't favor any power group. You have studied these in previous classes. In class 8 you have studied about India after independence, जहाँ पे you discuss किया था आपने कि हमारे relations कैसे हैं countries के साथ, right? So what kind of cooperation we get from other countries, it also depends, okay? The growth of the country या फिर economic development of the country depends on our relations also with other countries. देन इकोनॉमिक प्रायोरिटी ऑफ द कंट्री, क्या प्रायोरिटी है हमारी गवर्नमेंट, किस सेक्टर को या फिर किस फील्ड पे ज़्यादा फोकस करती है, मेडिकल पे ज़्यादा फोकस करती है, एजुकेशन पे ज़्यादा फोकस करती है, ओके, ट्रेड पे ज़्यादा फोकस करती है, या फिर दे फोकस मोर ऑन एग्रीकल्चर, राइट? व्हाट इज़ द प्रायोरिटी ऑफ द कंट्री? These all things they together matter for the economic development. Now since the difference of the economic growth is minimum, hence we should accept democratic government as it has other positive outcomes than dictatorship such as freedom, people's power and rights. Okay, so when you write your answer on economic outcome after giving the fact, okay, fact means we have when we compare it with dictatorships they have shown higher rates of development. After giving this fact you will come to the conclusion point that only if this from economic point of view, if democracies they have not produced so good outcomes, या फिर they have not shown higher development rates, then we cannot reject the idea of democracy because it has many other positive outcomes. Okay, so because dictatorship does not give us freedom, people don't have power there, people don't have rights there, right? You have already read in class 9 the best example of dictatorship under Hitler in Germany, right? So yes, Germany started growing, economic development started happening in Germany, but you have seen that how means what was the condition of people living there, right? Would you like to live in such a country where economically the country is developing but people are not free, people are not able to do anything with their with their own wish? So this is how you can conclude. Now the most important part is how the questions come from this topic. Okay, so that is most important. For that I have yes, got this file for you. Yes, as you can see here, topic 3, economic outcomes of the democracy. So first question, hope you would be able to see. I won't be able to underline here, okay? The first question is, are democracies based on the political and economic equalities? So the answer will be all the democracies are based on political equality. Yes, political equality मिलती है ना democracy में. All the citizens get equal political rights of voting या फिर electing their representatives या फिर contesting elections. Then parallel to the process of bringing individuals into political arena, we find growing economic inequalities. लेकिन political equality तो है, but economic equality there is no such guarantee in democracy, है ना? Democracy does not appear to be very successful in reducing economic inequalities. Ultra rich people जो हैं they enjoy disproportionate share of wealth and income. At the bottom of society people they have very little to depend upon. Okay, this way. Then how democracies have been able to reduce poverty? Okay, so in this form the questions will be asked from this topic. Now let us go back to the yes. So the question can also come बच्चे in the form of these cartoon figures, या फिर what does this cartoon या फिर what does picture represent. Now what does this picture represent? Actually the photo has not come full. Okay, it shows the unequal distribution of wealth in the country. Okay, those who are rich, they have, you can see this part of the body. Okay, in length it is smaller but it is healthy. It means they are ultra rich people, those who get more most of the economic resources, या फिर जो ज़्यादा GDP में share है जिनका. Then this, the longest portion, but they are very thin. It means they have very less share of income. Then the middle portion, जिसको middle class बोल देते हैं. Okay, they it is also, yes, better than the lower part, but yes, जो upper part है उससे it is also weaker. Fine, it shows the unequal distribution of wealth in the country. Okay, with this we are done with the topic of economic growth and development. This topic becomes complete with the next topic of this chapter, which is removing economic poverty and reducing economic inequalities. Okay, so from the both the chapters to both the topics together, questions may come. Okay, and from this topic, economic growth and development, the question can come that was what is the economic outcomes of democracy. Okay, so there, as we have discussed, first you tell the fact. Okay, where we compare dictatorship and democracy. Then you come to the concluding part that we cannot ignore other positive outcomes of democracy if it does not produce good development rates. Okay, so this way you can write your answers. We'll meet in the next video very soon. Okay, just let me know if you have any doubt in this topic. Till then, bye bye, take care.